All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us the truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, those making their bodies a living sacrifice in these last days, okay? And, of course, as y'all seen the video, all right, which I got up on the screen playing right now, this is a reaction here in Dallas, Texas, from a attack against ICE. Okay. You see, a lot of the people are fed up. All right, you have a lot of division that's going on here within Babylon the Great. You know, a lot of scrutiny upon the governors and specifically Trump. Okay, the Republican Party. You see, and the people, specifically the left, is pushing back against it. You know, a lot of seemingly, right? Because of course we know how this devil works. You know, you have control opposition. Okay. You know, the order out of chaos, right, as they say. So this man can eventually and essentially push forth his plan, which is to eliminate a lot of the freedoms that the common American has. Okay. And this is all a part of him and his plan, him coming down with great wrath. And we see it clear as day. All right, here we go. This is Revelation 12:12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them." You see, and that's exactly what we're doing. Okay, the heavens, that being, you know, the essentially the elect. All right, but even the hopeful elect, you know, we're in a joyful spirit. We seeing prophecies pass. Okay, we sit in heavenly places, that being in these prophecies with Yahweh Shai. Okay, as of course Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. You see, but we're watching it play out as our apostles, our elders have been seeing these things happening on the earth, and we're witnessing them play out. You know, we're witnessing the things that our apostles and elders have taught us play out on the earth. You know, this through this ministry that we've been passed down with. You see, and we're rejoicing. All right. It says, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." So we're seeing a lot of things happen in the news. We're seeing a lot of T attacks, if you will, which is due to course, you know, as they're planning a major step in this NWO, which is you know, to remove the ability for you to speak, especially on online platforms, and monitoring it more harshly or harsher now more than ever, but also to attack the means of protection against the people. Okay, it's an attack upon the rights to control arms. You see, so yeah, matter of fact, so let's actually watch some of these videos that I have, you know, on this X account, right? Now, this is a post on Reddit, okay, which, you know, is pretty much, if you don't know, like a forum, you know, where people can speak, you know, freely, and you can join threads where topics are, you know, spoken about openly, advice and whatnot, such things, right? but it is a place to see where the people's hearts are, a more transparent way, because people will type on there and not have any regard for for really anything. They'll let you know the purest thoughts of their heart, but this is from a form, looks like I believe this is the form Kiz with a Z, psych churn. All right, but it says American citizens violently kidnapped by ICE, and here are some of the replies. All right, people need to start blasting. Shoot first, ask later. Those are kidnappers. Take them out. Okay. It says this is another one by Lower Insect. They've pushed us to the point of violence. Sorry, Reddit censors, but this is an undeniable fact. Okay. Yeah, see, and here's another one. Well, since the king just took the capital by force with the military, perhaps it's time to fight back if these people exist. And these individuals, they're promoting violence, man. Right? And how do we know that this is a biblical prophecy? I believe Mark 3:25. Okay. This is Mark 3:25 in the, or matter of fact, let's start at 23 in the NLT. It says, Yahushua called them over and responded with an illustration. How can Satan cast out Satan? He asked, and that's essentially what's going on. These leftists, whether this be manufactured or actually genuine, these leftists are trying to demonize the right, and promoting that they're tyrannical, that they're this is evil, which we know that the right and the left, they're just both as bad. Really we're looking toward Yahushua and his rule, and he implements the commandments on the earth, and changes the nation of Israel so that we can not go off anymore, and we be perfect therein. But the left is accusing the right of being tyrannical, which we know that both the left and the right are in agreement ultimately behind closed doors, man. They're pushing forth the decrees of the international banking families, you see, which ultimately is to attack the free speech, to take away the people's rights, and to push this into a heavier slavery, that being through the control of technology, man, technocracy, you see. But it says a kingdom divided by civil war will collapse. Okay, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing civil war being set up. We're seeing more division. Okay, these last two attacks, when what I'm speaking of is the attack upon the individual Charlie, right? It's Calvin Klein, as brothers is saying, to keep it cold, right? But and then also the attack that happened today. All right, the shooting against ICE, and these are both by individuals on the left, okay, allegedly, right?
And are trying to hide their.
See, I'll play this again.
This is Gestapo-like behavior.
No.
Plainclothes officers wearing masks are terrorizing immigrants.
The ICE issue is alarming beyond words. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process. We're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here. Wake up.
Dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany especially in the earliest days of Nazi Germany, are the dangers that we need to react to now. They're taking people off the streets and sending them away. It's a 5-alarm fire, everyone.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is not the 1930s, and every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye. Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. We need to make sure that there's a firewall that they have to come through before they get to them.
Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack.
It's the Chinese government.
This is Gestapo-like
this is stirring
behavior.
up the Egyptians, man. All right, this is stirring up the Egyptians. So we'll further see. Matter of fact, let me just read it. Isaiah 19. Right, this Isaiah 19, starting at verse 1. It says, "The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud." Okay, and that's how the Lord is going to come back, according to Revelation, the 1st chapter. Okay, the Lord is going to come back with clouds. You see, but see, the earth is the Lord is visiting the earth due to these plagues. All right, due to these plagues, you have the plague of the economy being attacked right now. That's heavy. You know, the tariffs. And Trump is making it a harsher rule. All right, you're working longer hours. It's harder to get a job, so people are disgruntled. You see, you can't even go see what's fresh out there because nobody's really hiring. You know, it's less opportunity. The grinding is ceasing in America. Your dollar is stretching less, and then at the same time, what's being seen more in the news is political disagreement, you know. So it says, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. Okay, and that's when you'll be able to hear a pin drop on the earth. All right, all those mouths that's talking about how the Lord don't exist, about how, you know, these Old Testament Israelites, these antichrists, you know, all those mouths of the non-believers, we ain't in the last days or waiting on, you know, the rapture, right? Well, they're gonna see the elect be taken up, but then it's gonna be a lot of tribulation in those days. This is, of course, the final plague coming into the earth, right before the missiles. You know, is the Lord visiting this place. But see, he's doing it in these prophecies now, in these plagues, right? But it says, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Okay, and that's how those plagues, all right, these plagues will be propagated. That's one of them. Dividing the house. Okay, divide and conquer, if you will. And they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor. Okay, because what this attack was an individual that's an Edomite, man, or looks to be an Edomite, so-called white man. You know, same with the shooter of CK. You know, a so-called self-proclaimed white man. You see, which has always been the face of terror, if I may add. But it's normalizing, you know, anybody is a T, you know, anybody is a op, if you will, against the powers that be, okay, against the words of the president. See, so That's what we're looking forward to, man. The Egyptians are against Egyptians. It says, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fall in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. Okay, and that's exactly what's going on too. You know, these people are coming up with so-called solutions. All right, these wise men, right? The economists, the economists. I mean, you know, they're raising the interest rates, you know, to ease the squeeze on the economy. But it's not going to work, man. All of this is just going to be fuel to the fire, all right, to this controlled demolition, as they bring in a new order and a new system to register individuals and to check legal status. All right, as that's implemented, the money system is also going to change, and that's through the rolling out of this MOTB. Okay, so yeah, just I'm not gonna make it too long, but you know, brothers, you know, just stay on guard, watch, okay, and we sitting back and watching prophecies unfold, man, waiting on the victory. So, you know, stay in the spirit, stay prayed up. You know, we got the Day of Atonement coming in to meditate on Yahweh Shai even more. So yeah, Lord willing, I was able to edify. I want to go ahead and give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKodash. All right, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us his truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.